It's September 16th, 2024. The Atlanta Falcons are on the brink of an upset victory over the heavily favored Philadelphia Eagles. Kirk Cousins stands in the shotgun formation with everything on the line. What happens next could change everything for both teams, and especially for Cousins. After years of facing doubts, missed opportunities, and primetime disappointments, Cousins finds himself in a familiar position, leading a game-winning drive. But before we reveal what happens next, let's go back in time. How did we get here? Kirk Cousins' NFL journey began 12 years earlier when he was drafted by Washington in 2012. Not as the starter, but as the backup to Robert Griffin III. Cousins wasn't meant to be the face of a franchise back then. But when Griffin's injuries started piling up, Cousins was thrust into the spotlight. In 2015, Cousins had his first breakout moment, leading Washington to a playoff appearance and earning himself a starting job. Yet, even then, the whispers followed him. He's good, but is he great? For every big moment Cousins had, there was always a moment where he fell short. Whether it was a primetime loss or a playoff disappointment, it seemed like Cousins couldn't shake the label of being a quarterback who couldn't deliver when the pressure was highest. Then came 2018. Cousins signed a massive, fully guaranteed $84 million contract with the Minnesota Vikings. This was supposed to be his moment, his chance to prove that he could take a talented roster and make a deep playoff run. But in Minnesota, the pressure only grew. While Cousins put up great stats, the Vikings were unable to break through in the playoffs. Each primetime loss only added fuel to the fire. Critics questioned if Cousins could ever lead a team to the Super Bowl. Cousins had his moments of redemption, like the 2019 wildcard win over the Saints, but for every triumph, there seemed to be another setback. After multiple playoff disappointments and inconsistent performances, the Vikings decided to move on after the 2023 season. By 2024, Cousins found himself in search of a new team. Enter the Atlanta Falcons, a franchise that hadn't been relevant in years. They needed leadership, and Cousins needed a fresh start. But everyone knew this was likely his last shot to prove he could be more than just a good quarterback. For Cousins, this wasn't just about playing football, it was about changing the narrative. His career was running out of time to make a statement, and Atlanta was his last opportunity. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles entered the 2024 season as one of the top contenders in the NFC. With Jalen Hurts continuing to emerge as a superstar and a defense that ranked among the best in the league, the Eagles were seen as a favorite to make another deep playoff run. For Philadelphia, this game against Atlanta was supposed to be a routine victory. The Eagles were riding high, confident in their ability to outclass a Falcons team led by a quarterback many believed was past his prime. But as we would see, nothing in the NFL is guaranteed. From the start, the game seemed to play out as expected. The Eagles' defense was relentless, sacking Cousins multiple times and holding Atlanta's offense in check. By the fourth quarter, the Falcons trailed 21-15, and it looked like another primetime defeat for Cousins was on the way. The Eagles had control of the game, and with just under 2 minutes left, they seemed poised to secure another win. That was until an attempt to put the game away was erased by a rare Saquon Barkley drop, and Kirk Cousins had other plans. With a minute and 42 seconds left on the clock, down 6 points, Cousins took the field. He had no timeouts, 75 yards to go, and a chance to silence his critics once and for all. This was the moment Cousins had been waiting for, his chance to rewrite the story. On the first play of the drive, Cousins hit Darnell Mooney for 21 yards, moving the Falcons out of their own territory. A few plays later, Cousins found him again for a 26-yard gain, putting the Falcons in the red zone. The clock was ticking, but Cousins looked as composed as ever. And now, here we are, less than 40 seconds on the clock. Cousins, in the shotgun formation, with the game, and possibly his career, on the line. One play to decide everything.
Darnell Mooney one-on-one at the bottom. Cousins looks right, has a man! Touchdown, Drake London!
For Kirk Cousins, this wasn't just another win, it was redemption. After years of being labeled as a quarterback who couldn't deliver when it mattered most, Cousins finally had his moment. In a game no one expected him to win, he led the Falcons to victory in the most dramatic way possible. Is this the start of a new chapter for Cousins and the Falcons? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. On September 16, 2024, Kirk Cousins proved that he still has plenty of fight left.